You're literally encompassing all aspects of football: defending, tackling, passing, creating, shooting, goals, goal scoring. Case closed. Case closed. Um, I don't think it is reactionary or too crazy to say that the case is the best all-round player in the world. Let me tell you something. Do you know why my favorite position to play in football was always central midfield? You see, my argument was this: is that look, I respect what the keeper does, the defender does, midfield, obviously, the attack and everything. But the reason why I loved central midfield was it's you have to do everything. You see, for a defender, you just specialize in tackling. A attacker, striker, you personalize in finishing movements. A winger, you personalize in crossing. Midfield is the only position where you need to specialize in tackling. You need to specialize in passing. And it's okay, sorry. So if you're a number 10, you specialize in passing, shooting. If you're a DM, you specialize mostly in tackling. And maybe passing, but mainly in tackling. Central midfield is the only position where you need to be specialized in tackling, in passing, and in shooting. Like, I'm going to do a Modric vid because I was watching this amazing Modric video. I don't want to do another Modric vid where, Rio was actually saying that one of Modric's like key assets is his tackling. And there was I think it was the game against PSG where he won 4 of his tackles. So while I like midfielders, you have to do everything. You have to defend, you have to pass, you have to create, and also you have to shoot and also score goals as well. So really, that is the most footballing position in football, is the central midfielder, not the number 10, not the DM. That guy who's really in the heart of midfield, where you have to help out in defense, you have to protect the defense, and the attackers and the wingers are relying upon you to provide them with passes, maybe to launch the counter attack or to even create. And sometimes ball comes out to you outside of the 18-yard box, you're going to pop off and take that shot. And I got it a bit wrong with Casemiro, slightly, because when United signed Casemiro, I was like, okay, he's cashing out. He's going to go there, put down all of his UCL medals, his Liga titles, scoring the UCL final against Juve in 2017. But like, you know what? I'm just here just to vibe out. I've done my thing, and so far I'm just here to vibe out. I really think that he was going to come and say, no, I was actually a lot more valuable than you think. Because here's my thing: we all knew he was valuable for Real Madrid. Like, when he talks about that story of Modric, Kroos, and Casemiro, there was nobody who was higher than everybody. It was the perfect three-headed dragon where Kroos was the controller, Modric was the guy who pretty much connected defense, midfield, and attack, and Casemiro was the breadwinner. He was the guy who won that ball. So they all had their specializations, but the funny thing about that is it wasn't as two-dimensional as that, because sometimes Kroos could go up and score, sometimes Casemiro could go up and score and actually pass and actually contribute. And I remember saying to United fans that, again, I wasn't sure what Casemiro's headspace would be, whether he'd still be committed in saying what's up. But what I said that whenever, like, let's say Modric was injured or Kroos was injured, Casemiro would step into the central midfield role, and his passing range was damn good. His ability to create was also damn good. So I was like, oh, he's not just a ball winner. He's just not a Claude McLeod. He's just not a Busquets. He actually has more to his game. He can actually masquerade as a number 10 if he has to. Masquerade as an attacking midfielder if he has to. Masquerade as a box-to-box if he has to. But what has surprised me is Casemiro wanting to prove a point. Because and I think this is the funny thing here. When you look at Real Madrid, who got the spotlight for Real Madrid? Most guys would say it was Cristiano. If you look beyond Cristiano, then you'd say it was Modric. If you look beyond Modric, then you'll say it was Ramos. So and now, like, in the last few years, when Cristiano's left, it's now Benzema. you'd have to go a few names down the list before you now get into, oh yeah, Casemiro. So Casemiro didn't really have a lot of spotlights up on him. So all guys said was, man, he's so at Real Madrid he was like, man, he's very useful. He's a very useful member and he's a vital member. But we've gone from useful member to Casemiro might is all things considered, based on form, you could say he's the best player in the Premier League right now on form. Because of course you've got to look at what Saka's been doing for Arsenal. You've got to look at what Odegaard has been doing for Arsenal as well. You've got to look at what okay. I was trying to just squeeze it in there, but people can hear me, so I'm gonna just pull that out and then hope that just zip it. But I just think that the amount of value Casemiro brings to Man United is incredible. And I think what is interesting now is the spotlight he now has with what he's doing with United, he never had that spotlight for Real Madrid, because I think everybody now agrees that, he's United's best player. Of course, you respect what Bruno is doing, respect what Rashford is doing. Like, Rashford is on crazy form. But when you just say who is out and out the best player, it's Casemiro. It's to the point of where there are arguments of, man, but we didn't have Casemiro. How are we going to cope without Casemiro? For Real Madrid, it was more so, how are we going to cope without Cristiano's goals? How are we going to cope without Modric controlling the midfield? How are we going to control without Ramos' leadership and his defense? But it's gone from that to, oh no, we actually need Casemiro. Casemiro is not like the most useful guy. He's our best player. He's not like the workhorse. No, he is our best player. And I'm thinking about it, and I say to myself that this could prove to be one of the signings of the transfer window. And he's 30. Oh, he turned 31 yesterday. He turned 31 yesterday. So remember, this isn't 2004 or 2005 where by the time you reach 30, you decline. In 2023, 31 are like your peak years now. So United can get a good 4 or 5 years. And what makes it so scary is this. You now have that nucleus and heart of the team, which is Casemiro. So if this Qatari money is going to go through, and I'm praying it doesn't go through, because it's going to be very problematic for Chelsea to say what's up, but if that money now goes through, and you're now building pieces around Casemiro, you now get a really good quality controlling midfielder. Sorry. Things could get real. Sorry. Things could get very real. So I think my surprise was I didn't think Casemiro would be this committed. Because obviously, like, of course, everybody is. If you sign me and so forth, of course you're going to be professional. Of course you're going to play. So everyone is going to play. But this is my reading of it. I think Casemiro wants to prove a point. Not as any shade to Real Madrid, but I think Casemiro wants to say that, oh, no. You think I was that dude for Real Madrid? No. I'm really that dude. Like, you thought I was that dude? No, I'm that dude. And because you could always argue that, well, look, you were working with Modric, you were working with Kroos, you were working with Cristiano, you were working with Benzema and so forth. But now, look at this. Eriksen coming back from the heart failure. McSauce, Fred Flintstone, Bruno Fernandes, like, these guys, with all due disrespect, are a serious decline from Modric, Kroos, Valverde, Benzema, and so forth. So basically, he's required to do a lot more. And as you can see, he's required to actually be much more forceful because he's tackling, he's defending. We know that. He's distributing the ball. He's spreading plays. He's now assisting. He's now trying to now create plays, put up the balls in the pockets, and he's scoring as well. I mean, because see, for me, of course I respect the stuff that Neymar does, that Mbappe does, that Messi does, that freaking Benzema does. But for me, handsome because it was the position that I played, I have a special appreciation for a guy who can tackle, defend, who can pass, short range and long range, who can do through balls and create, and he can score goals as well. Because for me, that's football. You're literally encompassing all aspects of football: defending, tackling, passing, creating, shooting, goal scoring. You know, those are all the infinity stones of football. Like he has all the infinity stones of football, apart from goalkeeping, but all the infinity stones of an outfield player. And I just think it is, if United buy well, they purchase well, and that midfield has a lot of meat around it, and it's enhanced. You now have like a controlling midfielder that works well with Casemiro. It could be pretty scary hours for the EPL moving forward, man. Sir Jim Ratcliffe, we need that bid to come in, bro. We need that bid to come in, Jim Ratcliffe. I'm going to call him Jimmy. Jimsy. Come on, bro. Put down that cash. Use your phone, scan that QR code, man. Hopefully it works. If it doesn't work, tell me if the link is expired. The link shouldn't be expired. Use your phone to scan the QR code and join that official Discord server, man. I pop in and pop out of there, man. All right, guys. Like, subscribe. One love.